Welcome back to Bet On. It's now time to talk about the two biggest bowl games. That's right, college football playoff. Marco, I'm going to start with you with the Peach Bowl, December 28th, Oklahoma versus LSU. Actually, as we were walking in, I got a text. Looks like a couple of Oklahoma players are suspended. Line's now up to 14.
Yeah, this is one of those ones. Oklahoma coming into this was getting zero respect. I mean, all the talk was who was going to be number one, LSU, and then they were going to be playing the winner of 2-3. Okay, that's and who was going to get that spot. And you know what? I can't argue with it, Kelly. And I'm not going to. The old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've been riding this LSU team for a long time, and it's been good for me, and I'm going to continue to do it. I like them against Texas A&M. I like them against Georgia. This defense is underrated. People say that their defense doesn't stack up. You know, when they played Georgia, everybody said the Georgia defense was so much better. Yeah, the numbers were better, but you got to remember, as we pointed out, Georgia doesn't score points. LSU does. So LSU had margins. They were able to take their foot off the gas defensively, play a little bit of prevent defense in the second half, and that skewed their numbers. You want to talk about defense. How does Oklahoma stop LSU in this game? We saw down the stretch that teams, even a team like Baylor, that doesn't score a lot of points, was scoring points on Oklahoma in both of those meetings that they played late in the season, the regular season.
I mean, that's literally how K-State beat Oklahoma this year, was because they scored more points, which never happens. Right. That's not K-State's dichotomy.
The last month of the season, the Oklahoma defense resembled the Oklahoma defense of last year, which was horrible. I just don't see them doing it. They don't see teams like LSU in the Big 12 that can both pass the football and run the football down your throat and play smash mouth. I like LSU here. I'm laying the points. It's a big number, but I don't want Oklahoma.
So, VR, on my podcast last week, I said if it gets to 14, I have no choice but to bet Oklahoma. This morning I get a text. 3 Sooners, at least 3 Sooners is what it says, will be suspended. Perkins, Stevenson, and Bridges, 2 offensive players, 1 defensive end. I don't know if it really matters that much. Those guys are not pertinent guys to the offense, key guys on defense. It's not like, you know, Jalen Hurts is gone, right? Yeah. But my concern still is, how are these guys going to match up against LSU? I'm kind of backtracking now and taking the 14. Your thoughts?
Yeah, again, haven't bet this game, but immediately once the talk of the suspensions came out and the young lady asked me what I like on this side so they could put it on their graphics at the end of the show, I had to go to Oklahoma. And the reason for it's simple. The market always overreacts to what players are worth, what suspensions are worth, what weather's worth. 9 times out of 10, the market's going to misprice it. The books, the odds makers do a good job, but we, the market, tend to misprice it. And that's the only reason. That would be my fade against LSU, simply based on the fact that Oklahoma's got their players suspended. Otherwise, matchup-wise, what's not to like with LSU? I mean, they're not only crushed everyone, they're outperformed the betting market. Teams like that win that many straight up aren't supposed to be 67% against the spread. Vegas is supposed to do a much better job. But no one saw LSU coming. That's the difference. So coming out of the gate, they weren't supposed to have this kind of season. And I think that's why they've done so well ATS.
And then the flip side, Oklahoma's done really poorly.
ATS, exactly. Remember, week after week, is this a hill you want to die on? They win, but they don't cover. You know, is that going to continue into the bowl games? Time will tell. But that's the only pause I have with the LSU side, that the mispricing over the suspensions.
One thing I just want to throw in there, there's an old school angle. You might hear people throw it out there, but it has not been good over the last few years, and I'll tell you why. It used to be blindly you would bet against the team that has the Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But that has changed because now, because of the playoff picture, the Heisman Trophy team is always one of the teams, that's playing for the national championship, where before it could have just been a regular, bowl game and so forth, and you had that letdown. So don't buy that old factor.
All right, Marco, quickly, we have the Fiesta Bowl, December 28th, Clemson versus Ohio State. I like Clemson. We've already been over this one.
Yeah, you're not going to like me. We'll be tweeting back and forth. I'm sorry. I'm going to play the card that Ohio State is going to play going into this, they are disrespected. Everybody is Clemson, Clemson, Clemson. Clemson's a team you don't want to play. Clemson's defending national champ, blah, blah, blah. Clemson plays in the ACC. Yes, they dominated every year. Please tell me who the second best team in the ACC is and what their line would be if they were playing any of these other teams in there. I'm sorry. Ohio State, at the end of the season, everybody's looking that they got, they were behind against Wisconsin and everything else. Look at who they played down the stretch. They had to play Penn State, then Michigan, and then go to the Big Ten championship game and play a team that you already blew out. Ohio State beats Clemson.
All right, VR, you got about a minute.
Styles make fights. I like the under right away. These two teams, I get it, offensive juggernauts, but this is a big, big game, and this total's way up there. I think the national championship's a little bit different, but this is to get to the national championship, and I do not think it's going to be one of those runaway type games where you see a ton of scoring in the second half, like a lot of times in national championships. I think the under is the value side here.
Little revenge, too. Don't forget, Ohio State, last time they played Clemson, they got the shit beat out of them. I'm sorry.
And I feel like that is exactly how this game is going to go. I'm banking on Clemson showing up because of what you just said. They get no respect because they're in the ACC, where they're just the runaway favorite every single year to win that conference for a reason. They're leaps and bounds better. I love Dabo Swinney and what he does. Also love Brent Venables and that defense. I have no choice but to take the better defense here. I do like VR's under, though. I'm looking at that one just going, okay, that makes a lot of sense on how you see the game playing out. And I do think that, as you mentioned, the general public's not coming in to bet the under. Great stuff, guys. Can't wait to watch these games. Let's bring in our resident stat guy, Mr. Ralph Michaels, and see what he's got dug up for us in this week's TNA. Ralph, each and every week, people love the stuff you dig up. This is our final episode of College Football's Bet on It. Tell me what goodies you got for us this week.
I don't repeat things very often, but I'll tell you what. Bowls, 6-6 teams against teams with 7 or more wins since 2008, 50-22, 69%. It doesn't get simpler. Teams with 6 or more wins against exactly 6 wins against a team with 7 or more wins, and they won their last game to get in, 31-10, 76%. That's a repeat, I know, but it's just, I won't play against a 6-6 team. That's how strongly I feel against it.
Wow.
Since 1980, 15 teams have gone from 0 or 1 win to go to a bowl the next year. Those teams have gone 12-3 against the spread. Central Michigan is the only team that fits in that mold against San Diego State.
And they've done well against the spread this year.
Well, you got a solid head coach, and you're looking at a great situation. Since 2006, teams with 3 or fewer wins the year before. So you go from a 0, 1, 2, or 3 win team to going to a bowl, 31-14, 65%, 16-2 the last 3 years. Kent State, Central Michigan, Louisville, Georgia State.
I like it.
Teams who lost their last home game as a dog of 4 or more and didn't cover as well. Disappointing. Bubble burst, Michigan, Oklahoma State against Oklahoma, a rivalry game. Those teams have gone 8-17, 32% since 2009. And Kelly, you're not going to like this one, but it's worth mentioning.
Great.
Military academies.
Okay, good.
Okay? You have to mention it because it's military academies, the noise isn't the same. They go to bowl games. They're better prepared. They don't worry about practices. Military academies
They're
have
probably
gone
more disciplined.
34-13, 72%.
Wow.
Military academies against teams that have a win percentage of 600 or more, like Kansas State, 24-4 against the spread, 86.6%.
More reasons from Ralph for me not to go to Memphis for the bowl game.
I will say this, though. At North Dakota State in the playoffs, he often faced those SoCon teams that played options. So in the past, they have played option teams, at least when he was at North Dakota State. We'll see if he can translate that into a win at Kansas State.
Oh, good grief. Ralph just bringing me all sorts of Christmas presents. Appreciate you, Ralph. Great stuff as always. We are going to take a quick break. When we return, it is time to walk those dogs. One of my favorite segments, Barking Dogs, is up next on Bet On It.